r/askreddit. What's all that people break often that they probably don't know exists? Wide/narrow turns. Ending a turn in another lane rather than staying in your lane through the entire turn then signaling to change into the other lane. Improper turn citation. Duck people that do this when both the opposite side turning left and the side turning right have equal green lights. I've been honked at making a right on green when someone across the street making a left wants to come into the closest lane to the right rather than their proper turn lane, the farther or left lane. Even if the turning into the proper lane thing didn't apply, you'd still be in the right because someone turning left should yield to someone turning right. I nearly got hit on my motorcycle turning right on a yellow light onto a single lane road because the person coming the opposite direction also sped up and turned left. Fortunately, I drive very defensively, so I actually saw him and slowed down. I've replaced my horn with an actual car horn, which is pretty loud when not being muffled by being under the hood, and gave him an earful. At the next red light he rolled his window down and started screaming at me. I was behind him. I just ignored him. But I was totally in the right and it made me so angry. This was like 3 years ago. It still makes me angry. Another one is being drunk riding a horse in the UK. The horse is considered a vehicle, and it is an offense to be intoxicated whilst controlling a vehicle, so it is therefore an offense to ride a horse whilst drunk. Edit, u/stupidly obvious has correctly corrected the following. Correct but for the wrong reason. A horse isn't considered a vehicle in relation to the Road Traffic Act. Drunk and in charge and unfit through drink or drugs are both for mechanically propelled vehicles, which a horse is not one. Pursuant to Section 12 of the Licensing Act 1872, it is an offense to be riding a cycle or to be in charge of any carriage, horse or cattle when drunk. Note that it needs to be established that the defendant is drunk, not merely affected by alcohol. Thanks for the clarification. Edit. Funny story. An old guy in a village had a routine where he would ride a horse to the pub, get rat-assed, and then flop on the horse and let it carry him home. One day he got arrested for being drunk in charge. The case was thrown out after it was proven that the horse just knew the route home and was walking automatically. He was in no state to do anything and so wasn't controlling the horse. Gotta love the quirks in the law sometimes. That is adorable. Excellent horse. I've heard of similar things being very common when horses/mules were the main mode of transportation. A common prank pulled by youngsters was to switch all the animals around, so guys would wake up at the wrong house after a night of drinking. It's illegal to hang obstructions from your vehicle's rearview mirror, including fuzzy dice, air fresheners, GPS units, etc. I have no idea how people can drive with it dangling from the mirror. I get annoyed with the mirror blocking my view. How big is your rearview mirror that it's obstructing your view? In Massachusetts, there are tons of Puritan laws still on the books. I imagine the average person breaks dozens every day. The first one that comes to mind is that tattoos and piercings were only made legal again in 2000. Mourners may not eat more than 3 sandwiches at a wake. I love my state, don't change. Massachusetts, you know damn well, if there's a statue at a funeral he's going to issue you that ticket. Cycling on the pavement, sidewalk. Little kids are nothing but criminals these days. Kick them onto the road. It's against federal law to slip non-postage stamp mail inside a mailbox. What are you in for? I slipped non-postage stamp mail inside a mailbox. Watch out for Mad Dog. He ripped the tag off his couch cushions. Going back to your metered parking spot to add a few more quarters. I thought it was just illegal to add to other people's. Both. Putting money into a meter is basically just renting the spot for the agreed period of time. And once that is expired you have to vacate. Being drunk in a bar. I mean, where else should I get drunk? Obviously driving home isn't an option, so I have to drop an extra $20 on an Uber, because if I walk home I risk getting a pie. I took a bus home from a bar one night and the bus stop was maybe 10 blocks from my house. The cops stopped me 2 blocks away. They said I couldn't walk home and wouldn't give me a ride. I had to call the girl I had just started dating for a ride, otherwise I'd spend the night in jail. It was embarrassing. You can't walk home drunk. Jesus. Island would implode if that happened here. In Eureka, California, the law says men who wear mustaches are forbidden from kissing women. What about ones who grow mustaches? Who wants to kiss a woman with a mustache though? If you are on a bicycle, you must follow all posted street signs and rules. That includes stop signs. You method-king assholes. Similarly, most states require cars to treat cyclists as though they occupy roughly the same space as a small car. Luckily LA County overturned this stupid ducking rule, since bikes would hold up traffic. To cut through a parking lot / business on a corner to avoid a traffic light. People know that one. They just don't care. Willie hears yap, Willie don't care. It is illegal to willfully and wantonly disturb people by ringing their doorbells or knocking at their doors. Actually, that used to be an offense under Section 28 of the Town Police Clauses Act 1847. But that subsection was repealed by Schedule 23, 45, L of the Deregulation Act 2015. Feel free to ring people's doorbells to your heart's content. That doesn't sound right. But I don't know enough about Section 28 of the Town Police Clauses Act of 1847 and the repeal by Schedule 23, 45, L of the Deregulation Act 2015 to dispute it. Masturbating inside a Burger King. Apparently. Were you wearing a makeshift plastic bag mask? Duck your Honda Civic. I've a horse outside. Changing lanes in an intersection. Without signaling while running a red light and speeding. Is that all? Collecting gravel from the side of the road. Didn't find out until yesterday that it's a $10,000 fine. If you call county roads. In most places. They will deliver it to you from areas they have SC-aped. It is full of trash though. Source, I have 3 mounds of it in one of my woods because it has too much trash in it. How do you call a road? You're a criminal if you're getting it on other than missionary in a few states. Edit, sounds like the laws got struck down. We did it Reddit. In the US Armed Forces. It's against the Uniform Code of Military Justice, our laws we have to govern behavior, to engage in sodomy. The UCMJ's definition of sodomy is intercourse in any orifice, except from the vag. So anytime I've gotten a blowjob, I violated the UCMJ. I think this was changed after the ADT was repealed, because I don't think gay men can be punished just for knocking boots. Driving with your hazards on just because it's raining, and you are going a little slower. Oh, is that why everyone slows down and puts on hazards when it's a torrential downpour? I legitimately thought it was because we were all being traffic brothers and trying to help guide one another through vision impairment situations. Next time it rains, I'll try to be a traffic bro. Letting their cats outside without a leash. Edit, it's typically a bylaw, so it varies from city to city and country to country. Millions of cat owners are dragging their cats down the street on a leash while it just lays and accepts its fate. Instructions unclear. Put on leash. Cat still won't take me for a walk. Downloading cars. Catch a re-IEIEI'd. Now with 47% more than 26% death annually. That's down from last year, hold your applause. Entering an intersection without being able to exit it, even if light is green. In my state, Queensland, Australia, there is an exception to this rule, which applies if you are turning right across oncoming traffic. In that case you can enter the intersection and wait for a gap in oncoming traffic. You are permitted to exit the intersection then, whether the light is green, yellow or red, provided you do so as soon as possible. Same for left turns in the US. Drives me bonkers when people won't get their ass into the intersection for a turn. People thinking their local laws apply everywhere. Or people mentioning state laws without saying where they are from. Alternatively people not knowing what they are talking about. Flashing your lights to let other drivers know there is a cop waiting down the road. A higher if driving with windshield wipers on. Must have lights on. 2. I read about someone getting a ticket for the first one you mentioned. The judge overturned it because the official purpose of speed traps is to encourage drivers to drive slower. By flashing your lights to warn another driver of a cop up ahead, you are succeeding in making that driver slow down. It's been upheld in a number of states as free speech: Florida, Ohio, New York, Oregon, Pennsylvania, and is explicitly allowed in a few others. The only states it's been kept illegal do so by saying you're blinding oncoming traffic. Jaywalking. New Yorker here. We know the law exists. We just don't care. I've always assumed jaywalking in New York is closer to being mandatory than illegal. Where right turn on red is allowed. It's only legal to turn right on red if you are in the rightmost lane. On a related note, many people don't know it's legal to make a left turn on red from a one-way to a one-way if you are in the leftmost lane. Rightmost lane. Do people turn right in any other lane? I'm gonna avoid driving where you live. Sometimes there are two right turn lanes. If you turn on a road in the US, you can be ticketed if you don't turn into the lane closest to you. People always just swing wide though, because they are lazy and it's easier. So I just never turn right onto a road that people are turning left onto just to be safe. I must be related to Hank Hill, because I'm seeing all of these traffic violations listed on this thread and thinking, duh, seriously? I don't think I've ever rolled through a stop sign, changed lanes in an intersection, used a corner business to circumnavigate a traffic signal, or swing wide in a turn. And it irritates the hell out of me when people do these things, get caught, and then complain about cops. Dude, you rolled through a stop sign. It doesn't say slow down, it says stop. What did you think was going to happen? Make sure to like and subscribe so we can watch together.